everybody, it's Tara Bryan, and you are listening to the Course Building Secrets podcast. Whether you're a coach or a CEO, the success of your team and clients is based on your ability to deliver a consistent experience and guide them on the fastest path to results. This podcast will give you practical, real-life tips that you can use today to build your online experiences that get results and create raving fans. Why? So you can monetize your expertise and serve more people without adding more time or team to your business. If you're looking to uncover your $1 million framework, package it, and use it to scale, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hey, course creators, good morning. And this morning you are having coffee with me. And so hopefully you are having a great day. In today's episode, I want to talk about your course launch. And specifically what happens if your launch doesn't produce the results that you want. Usually what happens is when you launch your course, there are a couple different things that are going to happen, right? But most of the time, the first time that you do it, you may not get the results that you want. And there's a couple of very specific reasons why that is the case. So I want to unpack those today because I think one of the biggest sort of travesties that is happening right now in the field is there's this perception that you can go and create your course and put it out there on autopilot, throw some ads at it, and make $1 million. Guess what, guys? Like, that's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen for some very specific reasons. And so I just want to unpack those reasons for you today so you can avoid making the mistakes that that I've made in the past or a lot of other people have made as they've been trying to launch. So the very first thing is, keep this on. The very first thing is before you even start building your course, is to really dial in what's the problem that you can solve within your expertise, right? So before you create a course, before you create a business, before you create anything, what you're doing is you're looking at, okay, so here's my expertise, here's my passion, here's what I want to be doing, and here are the people who need what I want to be doing. Dial that in, look at that, and then start looking at how you can help them solve a particular and specific problem that they have that you want to help them with. So before you even worry about a platform, before you worry about where it's going to go or what's going to happen, that is the very first thing that you do is really think about, like, what is the problem that you can help a specific individual or set of individuals solve around your expertise. Okay, then the next step isn't to actually create the course material. The next thing is to go out and find where those people are and start serving them. And what I mean by that is you need to go out, figure out what their questions are, figure out what they're struggling with, figure out where they're hanging out, right? Online or offline or however you want to do that, and start really becoming almost a detective, right? Learn where they're struggling, what is happening, like where are they getting stuck, what are the kind of limiting beliefs, what are the mindset issues, what are the things that are going on around their problem and their attempt to look for a solution. Now, a lot of times what happens is that you can look back in your journey and you're going to have a similar problem that you've overcome, right? And so if that is the case, that's great. Go find other people who are, sort of still in the messy middle or still in the searching for that problem that you've been able to solve and get results from, right? So that is the very first thing, is to go out and figure out who is having this problem, what are the questions they're asking, and what are they struggling with. Then start answering those questions, right? Most of the time you've kind of figured out that you have an expertise because people are asking you questions, asking you to solve things, like calling you up and being like, hey, do you have a second? Hey, do you have a second? Right? Those are clues that what you have in terms of your expertise is going to help other people. And so amplify those conversations so you can kind of figure out okay, so here's a need, Here's a problem that people have, and I can help them solve it. That's the very first thing. Then you need to become visible out online. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm not going to talk too much about this in today's episode. I have lots of other episodes about that, and I'll probably talk about it again in future episodes. But here's the reality, and if you kind of break it down this way, it makes sense. Is that when you create a business, when you create a course, when you create a lead magnet or whatever it is that you want to create, the challenge that you're always going to have is who's going to see it, right? So you have to find people who can see your stuff. So you can build a web page, you can be on social media, you can have a blog, you can have a newsletter, you can have all of these things, and all of them are great tools to communicate with your people. The challenge before you communicate with your people is you have to have people, right? And so getting out there and becoming visible in one way, shape, or form helps you attract people to you, so you can be out there having people, right? And so that is the very first thing as you're building your business, as you're building your course, is to get in front of people so you can communicate with them, so you can share with them the results, so you can share with them how you help, so you can have conversations, you can answer questions, and you can be out there really honing in what is it that you can uniquely give to them to help them solve the problem that they're working on. So often the biggest misconception from people like big names, big influencers out there in the industry is that they launch their thing and it blows up and they get a huge launch. And the challenge is that you're looking at their audience in their size that they already are when they launch. They're not starting from scratch. And often when I'm working with experts, when you're launching something new for the very first time, you don't have an audience yet. And that's okay, right? Because you have to build one. But as you're building, you want to also be out there becoming visible in one way, shape, or the other, right? So a blog, a podcast, a video, teaching, whatever you're going to do, right? Is being out there so people can find you. One of my favorite stories is I was working with this man who was in medicine, and he had his own clinic, and all he wanted to do was patient care. And so he was so frustrated when he had to go out and actually do marketing, and he had to do all of the things so people knew that he had an office in this particular location, because he just wanted to hang out in his office and help people. Unfortunately, when people don't know that you have an office, then they can't find you, right? And so that is what happened to him, is he wasn't able to grow his business because he wanted to focus on patient care, but he didn't have enough patients to sustain his business. It's the same concept when you move online, right? You have to have the numbers of people who see you, right? You have to have the eyeballs on your offer in order for people to be able to raise their hand and say that they're interested. So that's the very first thing in making sure that you're going to have a successful course launch is, do you have enough eyeballs? Most of the time, it is a math problem. Number of eyeballs equals number of conversions, because it is just a percentage of the people who are in your world who are going to convert and buy. There's all sorts of other factors, but really that's one of the reasons to get visible, is so you have enough people to see your offer, so you can use that information to figure out how to dial in what you have, change the levers, move things around in order to then convert more of those people who are seeing you. And yes, you can do that with ads, but the reality is it's harder to do it with cold traffic, so traffic that like you get from an ad, than it is to just be working and developing relationships online or offline with people who already have what or need what you have to offer, right? And so that's the very first thing, is becoming visible as you're working on your course. So don't build your course, don't build your whole program, do an expensive launch, and then work on finding people. It's the other way around, right? Find people, build demand, and then do your launch, because then people are ready to purchase. So the number one thing that I see people struggle with when they're launching is that they've gotten this backwards. They build their thing and then they start trying to find people to join their launch, and there's not enough runway, right? It's a short period of time. When you're launching, what you want to do is maximize your visibility. If you're already out there, what you're doing is just putting jet fuel on it. You're not trying to create you're not trying to create the visibility during a launch, right? So all of that happens first as you are starting to build your offer. You're starting to build your framework. You're starting to actually get in and figure out how to help people. That comes when you find your voice, when you find your people, as you start attracting them to you. So all of that happens first before you really dial in the launch. Now, one common question that I get from people is like, well, how do I know what to talk to people about if I don't have anything launched yet? And that's a bit of a delicate balance, is that you want to have your framework specified. You want to know kind of how you're helping people, and you can go ahead and help real humans, right? You can go out and do that first before you package and launch. So keep that in mind as you're going through, but it's a little bit of a dance. But that will help in that field of dreams example of like, if you build it, will they come? No, not if they don't know that it's there. So that is the number one thing that I see that people are struggling with when they're doing a launch, if it's not successful. The second thing is remembering that it's a numbers game. Try and take the emotion out of people converting or not converting, right? And so when you look at it and people are, either buying or not buying, it's about what the work that you've already done, and trying to stay out of how you feel about the launch, what you feel about whether it's successful or not. Look at the numbers, dial in and change and tweak and show up as much as you can during a launch process, versus expecting that the numbers and the pieces are going to produce sort of that result that you want. And so keep that in mind as you're going as well. So if you haven't hit your goal, if your launch isn't how you wanted it to be, it's okay. Remember, it's not about you. It's not about your product. It's about perhaps your visibility and how you're communicating with your potential students. So go back, become visible, find your voice, attract the people, get them ready to buy, and then they will come into your launch and it will soar and you will be successful. All right, there you go. There is your course building secret for today.
Hey everybody, are you a business owner ready to streamline and scale your business? Imagine solving the biggest business challenges with clarity, a strategy, and a clear plan. Hey, I'm Bryan, and I want to invite you to take the first step towards transforming your business with a free 30-minute discovery call. This call is an opportunity to discuss your goals, identify key challenges, and learn how my mentorship program can help you achieve the success you're aiming for. In just a half hour, we'll explore how you can scale your business by enhancing your authority strategy, engagement strategy, and retention strategy. You'll get personalized advice and a clear path forward. Ready to take the first step? Click on the link below that's in the show notes to book your free discovery call now. I hope to talk to you soon.